Okay, some of you are getting back your worksheets also. If you didn't turn them in, of course, you're not getting them back. If you're getting them back, go ahead and put them in your folder, please. The Newsy worksheet. Dr. Garrity and Mr. Saracen.
Mr. Muto?
Yes.
Where do I hook my iPod? Oh, I didn't do that.
Let's go.
Can I still do the right
That's the way This might work.
Okay, good morning. How are you guys today?
Mr.
Just call him Mr. G. How's that?
Yeah, I forgot what it was.
That's okay. Mr. G is great. I have a question for you. Raise your hand if you've ever been to a parade. You have been to a parade. Awesome. What's your name?
Nick.
Nick, tell me something that you heard or saw at a parade.
Them big drums.
Big drums. Okay? And those big drums are part of probably something what?
A marching band.
A marching band. So you've seen or heard a marching band. Great. What is something else? Tell me something. What's your name?
Said old Bob.
Brianna? Brianna? Tell me something you saw or heard at a parade. Or what you might hear or see at a parade. What else might you see or hear besides a marching band? So you'll hear some music played by who? The marching band that Nick told us about. What's your name? Christina. Have you ever been to a parade? What did you see? What did you see there?
Like the little things, like that, or like that. I don't know what you call them. Like
Describe it. I'll see if I can figure it out.
they got like it's like what people stand on.
So bleachers,
Yeah.
right? They have them at football games too, don't they? For all those people to see. So you have the grandstand for people so that are there to watch the parade. They get to go ahead and see all the stuff that's coming by. What else might you? What's your name? Deshaun. Deshaun?
Yes.
Tell me what did you see or hear at the parade or at a parade?
Cars.
Cars. What kind of cars do you normally see? Are they special kind of cars in some way? Well, sometimes you see the really old cars, right? The really old classic cars. And sometimes you see the really new fancy cars, right? And who's normally riding in those cars? Usually somebody important, right?
The people the parade for.
Did you raise your hand? Raise your hand. Nick, tell me something.
The people the parade is for.
So maybe somebody who's important to the parade. So the marshal, the grand marshal of the parade is usually one of those fancy cars. One other thing. What do you know? What did you see or hear at a parade? What's your name? Cameron. Give me something.
Like those people that those things up in the air sometimes. Or,
Ooh, throw things in the air. I like that. What is that? Tell me more.
I don't know what it's called. Like throw it around and like different dances and stuff. I forget what it's called.
Contourlers?
Yeah.
I like that. You're going to say something? What's your name?
Devin.
Devin? Tell me something.
Parade floats.
So lots of groups will go ahead and make a big old float that has something to do with their organization. That is awesome. I love it. Well, we're going to listen to a song today that you may have heard at a parade. But before we listen to that song, here's what I want you to do for me. When you figure out what I'm doing, I want you to join in and do exactly what I'm doing. Ready? Here you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Some of you are killing me. What am I doing here? Raise your hand. What am I doing? What am I doing? What's your name? What am I doing? Olivia. And what am I repeating over and over again? Yeah, I'm counting to 4 over and over again, right? Some of you weren't jumping in. You're scaring me. Where are you guys in? Come on now. 7th grade, 8th grade, right? So we're counting to 4. Awesome. Well, I'm going to do something different this time. Tell me what you think I'm doing this time. Right? Here we go. Join me when you can. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop. What am I doing? What's your name? Olivia, what am I doing? I'm still counting to 4, but is there something I'm doing differently? I'm making the 1 louder. Awesome. I love it. How about this time? Tell me what I'm doing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. What's your name? Lenasia?
Yeah.
I like that. Tell me what I'm doing.
Screaming 1 and 4.
You sound like I'm screaming 1 and 4. I'm still counting to 4, right?
Yeah.
And I am making which beats louder?
1 and 4.
1 and 4. Awesome. So here's what I want you to do. While we're listening to this song that you may have heard at a parade, you may have heard Nick's marching band play this song, you may even recognize this song. What I want you to do is I want you to count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, over and over again, and I'll help get you started. And there are going to be some beats that are louder than others. I want you to figure out which beats are louder than others. It may be 1, 2, 3, 4. It may be 1, 2, 3, 4. It may be 3. It may be 3 of the notes. It may be a whole bunch of them. But I want you to tell me which of those notes, 1, 2, 3, or 4, which one of those beats are sticking out to you. Can you do that for me?
Yeah.
Awesome. Here you go. You ready? Here's the song. One, two, three, 4, 2, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Count with me. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome! How many have heard that song before? Raise your hand. Awesome. Anyone know what the name of it is? It's okay if you don't. It's called Colonel Bogey March. What, can you tell me one of the notes, 1, 2, 3, or 4, one of the beats, which one of them seemed louder than the others? Is there any one that seemed louder?
No.
What's your name?
Cabin.
Kevin? I love it. Tell me your name. What do you think?
4.
4? Maybe? Anybody else have something else?
I think they were all the same.
You thought they were all the same? Anybody else? Other ideas? Well, if they're all the same, then 4 would be one of them,
Yeah.
right? Try one more time. See if you could go ahead and figure out which ones are accents. See if you have a different answer. Try this again.
Oh, okay.
Which one for sure is really accented? It's different from all the other ones. Kevin, what do you think this time?
1.
1 is really different, isn't it? It's really obvious where 1 is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ba-da, ba-da-da, ba-ba, ba-da. That 1 is really clear, isn't it?
Wasn't that song off the Sanford and Son, something like that?
That's bum-bum-ba-da, bum-bum-ba-da-da-da-da. You're thinking a different song, but I like that one. That's a good one too. So this one really has an accent on beats 1. And normally when you have a song that's accented on beat 1, there's another beat that's normally accented. Which do you think it is? If 1 is the first one that's accented, what do you think the next one that's going to be accented is going to be? Take a guess. What do you think? Devin, right?
4, yeah.
The 4th one? Sometimes it would, and why would the 4 be a good answer?
Because it's one's right after 4.
And it leads right into it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So that's a great answer because sometimes 4 leads right to 1, doesn't it? What's another good answer? What do you think? 3. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Why is that a good answer?
Because it's CFPB.
So it's every other beat, isn't it? Awesome. Well, in this case, it really is that 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I want you to do this time is stand up for me. And as you are doing this, I want you to go ahead and stomp with your foot on 1, 3. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. And always with your left foot. So just your left foot. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got it? Here you go. Here it comes. Little intro. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. You guys are awesome. You got it. Now, why am I making you do that with just your left foot? Sit down. What's that? Yes, because I'm doing it, and you're doing being a great student, Nick, because you're doing exactly what I asked you to do. Thank you very much. What else?
You're picking your foot up and drop it. It's faster.
Well, you pick it up and you got to drop it down. So there's the 2 motions really in there. It's got to go up and down. I like that. What else did you say, Calvin? What did we do before? Why was 1 and 3 a good answer?
Because you can skip beats to give you another one.
Because you skip beats. So what were we skipping, essentially?
A step.
And what foot would you probably do with that other foot?
What?
What foot would you use for those other beats that we're skipping? The right foot. So think about this. How many of you ever seen any movies with like army stuff in it? Any army movies? And when all the army is all together and they're marching down the street, what do you normally hear the drill sergeant saying?
Counting.
What? Stop! Nick, raise your hand! Raise your hand! Nick.
It says right, left, right, left.
They always do left, 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 right. You've all seen this on movies, right?
Yeah.
What's left?
The left foot.
Left, left. Which beats are those?
The 1 and 3.
Left, 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 right, left. 1, 3, 1, 2, 3. That 1 and 3 is really accented there. That's pretty awesome. That is great. So good. So now I want you to keep that in mind because Mr. Sarasa now is going to do another song with you that may be a little different. And maybe the beats are not 1 and 3 anymore. Maybe it's something different. Let me switch this for you. Good.
Okay, so we are going to listen to another song. What are some styles of music you guys like to listen to? Do you all know what a musical style is? Okay. Someone give me a style of music they like to listen to. Yeah.
Rap.
Rap. Anything else?
Nope.
Nick.
Rock.
Rock. Okay. So we are going to listen to a rock song. And this is called A Perception Chart. And feel free to list any other styles you like. Does anyone else like any different styles other than rap and rock?
Huh?
Can you take one?
What song?
Like almost anything? That's good. Good to like a lot of variety of music. So we are going to listen to a song, and it is called Old Time Rock and Roll. And what I have given you all is called a perception chart. So for this perception chart, you're going to go ahead and listen to the music, and I'm going to call out numbers. And for every number, if there are any extras, just handling back up. When I call out a number, I want you to circle whichever side, A or B, seems to match up with the music. So can someone go ahead and read me the instructions. Nick, I'll read them out loud so everyone can hear.
Okay. Listen to Old Time Rock and Roll by Bob Seger and circle a statement in either column A or B that best describes what you hear.
Okay.
Great, so, hold that thought there, Mr. Saracen. So, if you look at number 1, when the music starts, if you hear a piano, you're going to circle, I hear a piano, in that column A. If you hear a trumpet, you're going to circle, I hear a trumpet. And then Mr. Saracen will tell you when you get to number 2, 3, 4, and 5, and you decide what you hear. Okay? Great.
I don't actually have a perception chart up here. Can I get one?
Sure. You're going to need one of those.
So I can follow along with everyone. All right, so as the numbers come along, I will call out the next number, and that's all I'm going to say, so you can listen to the song. So this is number 1, right at the beginning.
Just take those old records off the shelf. I sit and listen to them by myself. Today's music ain't got the same soul. I like that old time rock and roll. Don't try to take me to a disco.
Let's go ahead and try that over. This is number 1, sorry.
Just take those old records off the shelf. I sit and listen to them by myself. Today's music ain't got the same soul. I like that old time rock and roll. Don't try to take me to a disco. You never even get me out on the floor. In 10 minutes I'll be late for the door. I like that old time rock and roll. Still like that old time rock and roll. That kind of music just soothes the soul. I reminisce about the days of old. With that old time rock and roll. Won't go and hear a tango. I'd rather hear some blues or funky old soul. There's only one sure way to get me to go. Stop playing old time rock and roll. Call me a relic, call me what you will. Say I'm old fashioned, say I'm over the hill. Today's music ain't got the same soul. I like that old time rock and roll.
And number 7.
Still like that old time rock and roll. That kind of music just soothes my soul. I reminisce about the days of old. With that old time rock and roll.
We'll go ahead and start it there. Okay, so let's go ahead and go through it. Let's see. I don't know your names very well, so I'm going to go ahead and put you. What's your name again?
Christina,
Christina. Can you tell me what you have for number 1? I saw you put the right answer.
a piano,
A piano. Did everyone hear a piano?
Yep.
Okay. And then for number 2, what were we supposed to do for number 2? That clap with the beat. So we didn't have a lot of people clapping with the beat. So I did write it the same, so you didn't have to circle one. That was where you were actually supposed to clap the beat. I should have been a bit more specific with that. Number 3, Olivia, can you tell me what you put?
2 and 4.
The beat is on 2 and 4. So was that similar to what Dr. Garrity was talking about?
Yes.
Well, what did Dr. Garrity say the beat was normally on?
On 1 and 3. This out.
1 and 3. So what was this one on?
2 and 4.
2 and 4. So that's a little unexpected. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, just like Dr. Garrity did. But this time we're going to clap, and then we're going to clap louder on 2 and 4. Can everyone clap with me?
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So this is called backbeat. So we're going to put the beat not on 1 and 3 where it normally is on the front, but we're going to put it on the back. the 2, and the 4. And what style of music normally has backbeat? Rock. So a lot of music that some people like today, like Nick, you said you like rock, right? Has backbeat. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to listen to the song again, and I want everyone to clap 2 and 4. Well, you're going to clap all and then clap louder on 2 and 4. Can we go ahead and do that together?
Yeah.
This is just a little piano intro.
Just take those old records off the shelf. I sit and listen to them by myself. Today's music ain't got the same soul. I like that old mama rock and roll. Don't try to take me to a disco. You'll never even get me, I don't know.
That was good. I think you guys all did that really well. Am I good?
Oh, you're good.
Okay.
Got the second lunch.
Okay.
Mr. Sarasson, before you go on, I think I've got a challenge for these kids. I think they got it. But can you guys do it and not clap all the beats now, just clap 2 and 4?
Yeah.
So don't do all of them. Don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, just do 2, 3, 4. So don't clap at all on beats 1 and 3. Just go ahead and clap on 2 and 4 this time.
Okay. So let's go ahead and do that.
On the shelf, I sit and listen to them by myself. Today's music ain't got the same soul. I like that old mama rock and roll. Don't try to take me to a disco. You'll never even get me, I don't know. In 10 minutes I'll be late for the door. I like that old mama rock and roll. Still.
Okay. So yeah, I think you guys handled that challenge really well.
And what do you have to do in order to make sure that we stay together when you're not clapping every single beat?
Rest.
You got to rest. Devin says rest, which is great. But what else do you have to do in your brain? You're counting in your head. That's right. So you're counting as you go, and you're thinking 1, 2, 3, 4 in your brain, and you're only counting on 2 and 4. Bigger challenge. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Can you put the 2 together? Can you stomp your left foot only on 1 and 3 and clap on 2 and 4? So we.
That's easy.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
All right, prove it. Next. Here we go.
Go ahead and try that.
On the shelf, I sit and listen to them by myself. Today's music ain't got the same soul. I like that old mama rock and roll. Don't try to take me to a disco. You'll never even get me, I don't know. In 10 minutes I'll be late for the door. I like that old mama rock and roll. Still like that old mama rock and roll.
So we're going to go ahead and stop that again. So now, I think you guys really understand the concept of backbeat. So don't forget it, because we're going to compare it to something else later on in the lesson. So, can someone raise their hand and tell me what they put for number 4? Someone in the back row.
I hear guitar.
You heard guitar. Everyone else hear guitar? Does anyone know what a violin sounds like? Well, that would be more of a guitar sound.
What? It was like really high.
Yeah, violin would be a lot higher. So, and then number 5. Can someone tell me what they put for number 5? What's your name again? Kevin?
I've heard this part before.
I've heard this part before. And then for number 6. Drums. So that was a pretty prevalent instrument, but it was sort of in the background, so I understand it was part. Does anyone else have another instrument that they wrote down? Or did everyone write drums? That makes sense. You could have been specific and like listed all the different drums. So that's all. And then number 7. Can you go ahead and tell me what you put for number 7?
I heard this part before.
I heard this part before. Where did we hear that part before?
Green drum song.
In the middle, not quite at the beginning, but yeah. So that part repeated. So there are parts in this song that repeat. And then does anyone know the bonus question? Yes. What's your name again?
Sean.
Vashon?
Saxophone.
Saxophone.
Yeah,
There was
I got it.
a saxophone.
So I have a question for you guys. We said, what kind of style of music is this?
Rock.
Yeah, rock and roll, and you can tell because it's right in the title, right?
Yeah.
So this is a rock and roll song, and some of the instruments that we've already talked about, we said we heard drums, we heard saxophone, we heard guitar, right? Why would you not hear a violin? That was one of the choices. Why
It's
would
not a rock and roll.
Violence more classical.
I love those answers. I would love them even better if you raised your hand. So Kevin, tell me why it's good not to hear, why you wouldn't hear a violin that often in rock and roll music.
Violin's more classical type.
So what kind of ensemble, not a rock band, but where would you normally hear a violin, and what kind of ensemble? Starts with an O. Yeah, in an orchestra. So you probably hear a violin more likely in an orchestra and not so much in rock and roll music. So rock and roll music has a specific set of instruments that we're listening for: drums, guitars, maybe some saxophones, maybe some horns, some trumpets, trombones maybe. Okay? But not often do we hear violins, which is a good thing. And then what is the other thing that we're looking for if it's rock and roll? There's a really strong what? What kind of beat?
Backbeat.
Which means the stronger beats are on which beats? Nick, raise your hand. Tell me.
2 and 4.
2 and 4. Great. Awesome.
Okay, so now that we have rock firmly established and we have marches firmly established, we're going to do something new, and who knows what it's going to be. So I want you guys to go ahead and try to once again clap along 1, 2, 3, and 4, and when you figure out where the strong beats are, try to clap louder on the strong beat. Now let's see everyone clap.
That kind of music just someday when I'm awfully low, when the world is cold, I will feel a glow just thinking of you and the way you look tonight. Yes.
Okay, so where were the strong beats that time? Someone other than Nick and Kat. Devin, where were the strong beats? 2 and 4 again. Does anyone else have any other guesses? 1 and 3. Does anyone agree with, who agrees with 1 and 3? Raise your hand. Does anyone agree with yourself? Who agrees with 2 and 4? Raise your hand. Who still isn't sure? And probably still won't raise their hand anyway.
Anybody else?
Okay, so let's go ahead and listen to it one more time.
Mr. S. That was jazz.
It was jazz. Ha, good. So I'm going
I
to clap
guessed it.
something slightly different. So go ahead and try to lightly clap the 2 and 4 that we heard, and then listen to what I'm clapping. Ready, clap along with me.
Someday, when I'm awfully low, when the world is cold, I will feel a glow just thinking of you. And the
Okay, so what beats was I clapping? This one's a hard one. Any guesses? Yeah.
1, 3.
1 and 3? Almost.
1, 2, and 3.
Not quite. I actually, do you have a guess?
1, 3, and 4.
1, 3, and 4. 1 and 4. Well, this is where it gets complicated. I was clapping on 1. And we're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4. Can everyone see that? Or should I write the numbers down online? Since it's easier? I'll write them down here. 1, 2, 3, 4. But then I was clapping in a different spot. I was not clapping on 2 or 4. I was clapping between 2 and 3. And we're going to call that and, the and of 2. And between 4 and the next 1. And then I was clapping 1. So does anyone know what a dotted quarter note is? Have you guys learned dotted quarter notes?
Yeah.
Okay. So dotted quarter notes have how many beats?
1.5.
1.5. Thank you for raising your hand, even though I didn't exactly call it. So, if we have a 1.5, the beat after that's going to fall on what? Nick.
I don't know. What was the question?
if we have 1.5 beats,
Yeah.
and we have a note that follows 1.5 beats, where does that note land on?
3.
Not 3. If it was 2 beats long,
2.
then it would land on 3. It lands on 2.5.
Ha, yeah.
So we're going to subdivide, we're going to divide each beat into 2 parts, and we're going to label those and. So I want everyone to repeat after me. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and yes.
Before we do that, Mr. Sarasin, can the class clap with the beat 1, 2, 3, 4 like we've been doing?
Yeah.
And can you actually clap the ands for us and clap the opposite so we could feel and hear what that sounds like?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So the whole class is going to clap 1, 2, 3, and 4,
Yep.
and then I will join in with the ands. So go ahead
Yep.
and start with Dr. Garrity on 1.
Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Stop. What's happening when Mr. Sarasin is saying and clapping? What are your hands doing?
They still clapping.
What are our hands doing? Not his hands, our hands.
Stopping.
What are they? Stopping is good. I like the answer. Raise your hand, please.
Stretching out.
Yeah, they're opening up, aren't they? So when our hands come together, it's on the beats, 1, 2, 3, 4. And when our hands come apart, that's when Mr. Sarasin's are coming together. So it's kind of opposite. So let's do that one more time. You guys clap with me on the numbers. Mr. Sarasin's going to clap on the ends. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, numbers. Now we're going to do the opposite. So Mr. Sarasin, you start by yourself, and we're going to go ahead and clap the ends.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1 and 2 and ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3. There you go.
So some of you guys got it, some of you guys are still having trouble.
I got it.
It's a little weird to clap on the off beats, right? And that's what we're going to call that. So when I was clapping with the jazz music, as Nick called it, I was clapping on 1, the and after 2, and the and after 4, and then 1, 2, 3. So let's go ahead and let's try to all clap that. So I'm going to count a little slower. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to clap, and I want you guys to clap with me. So we'll go 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3. Does that make sense? So let's go ahead and try to all clap that. And listen to me counting so you don't get thrown off. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, I'm going to go ahead and play it
Yeah, I
again.
got it again.
And I want you guys to listen to it, try to clap along with it, and I want someone to tell me what instrument is playing the rhythm that we are going to
When the world is cold, I will feel a glow just thinking of.
Okay, could everyone hear the music playing that rhythm?
Yeah.
Or something close to that. And does anyone know what instrument was playing that rhythm?
Sounds like a sign.
Can someone raise their hand and tell me?
Saxophone.
Saxophone. Good job. Okay. So, there is actually a word for emphasizing not necessarily 1, 2, 3, and 4, but the offbeats or the ands. Does anyone know what that word is? Nick.
Rest?
Rest. Not quite.
Oh.
It is a complex word called syncopation.
Oh, I remember.
Can everyone say syncopation?
Syncopation.
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 So syncopation is found in what style of music? Does anyone have a guess? You you have a guess? What style of music were we listening to?
Jazz.
Jazz. So what style of music would have syncopation, everyone?
Jazz.
Jazz. So jazz often has syncopation, which is emphasizing what? Which beat? Almost. What do we call the rest beats? What do we call the ands?
Are they on the beat?
Oh, the backbeat.
Not backbeat. They're not on the beat, so they're
Offbeat.
Oh, okay.
So syncopation emphasizes offbeats or division of the beat, somewhere in the middle. So we're going to go ahead and listen to the jazz song one more time. And the jazz song is going to have what type of rhythms?
Syncopation.
Syncopation. Go ahead and clap for the syncopated rhythm.
Someday, when I'm awfully low, when the world is cold, I will feel a glow just thinking of you and the way you look tonight.
And I just realized a critical mistake I made. What are we really clapping on? We are not clapping on the and of 4. That's my fault. We are actually clapping on 4. So we're clapping 1 and 4, 1, 2, 3. So I apologize for that mistake. But there's definitely an emphasis on the and of 2, making this syncopated.
So what are you doing? Same question that I asked you before. In order to make sure that you're clapping all this correctly, what are you doing in your head?
Counting.
But now how are you counting? Are you counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4?
No. One.
One and.
No, it's one.
Say that, Lenasia, right? Nope. Tell me
One
your name again. Alethea, right? Yes. You're saying the ands now, right? You're saying 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So now you're not just saying the numbers, you're saying also the offbeats in there, and you're counting that in your head to make sure that you're clapping at the right time. Good.
Okay, so now we're going to listen to one song or the other, and I want you to clap along with it, and then tell me what kind of beat it has. Does that make sense? So go ahead and clap along with the...
Well, what are our options, Mr. Saracen?
Our options are going to be... Well, class, what are our options? What have we talked about today?
1, 3.
1 and 3, that's one of the options, and that is what type of music?
Backbeat. No, that's not backbeat.
Beat. That's the normal beat.
Yeah.
Is that a good word, Dr. Gary?
Normal works.
Normal.
Traditional, maybe.
Traditional, normal, classical, march, whatever you want to use. What are our other options? 2 and 4. And someone raise their hand and tell me what 2 and 4 would be. Backbeat. Good job. And then what is our third option? Syncopation. And where is the emphasis going to be for syncopation? In between the beats. And sometimes on the beats as well. So we have normal, backbeat, and syncopation. What styles are associated with each one?
And the reason why there's not really a good name for 1 and 3 is because it was so normal for a long time that it didn't have its own name. When backbeat came along and became really, really popular, it was something that was different from the normal, so it got its own name, which was backbeat. But 1 and 3 is just traditional. It's what most music has come along and been, so that's why it doesn't really have its own kind of name, so to speak.
So what is backbeat associated with? What style of music? Rock. And then someone raise their hand and tell me what syncopation is associated with. Yes. Jazz. And then someone raise their hand and tell me what a normal or traditional beat would be associated with. Which has a lot of options. Classical. And what did we listen to specifically?
March.
A march. Okay. So only have a few, but try to guess which ones they are, and you'll probably recognize them.
Just take those old records off the shelf. I sit and listen to them by myself. Today's music ain't got the same soul. I like that old time rock and roll.
What one's that?
Backbeat.
Oh, is that right?
Backbeat? No.
Backbeat.
But to love you and the way you look tonight. With each word, your tenderness grows.
And which one is that?
That is
Syncopation.
Syncopation. Someone in the back row, tell me what style of music that would be associated with. Jazz. I heard someone say jazz. Dr. Garrity, do you have any other examples we could have them listen to?
No, they've already heard the Colonel Bogey quite a bit, so that's a good thing.
Okay. So now, one final thing to tie it all together. Who knows what meter is?
Mr. Sarasin,
Yes.
I'm going to suggest that you don't do that.
Okay.
Why? Now you become a student. Why? How much time do you have left?
Not much.
Do you want to introduce a new concept right now?
No.
No. You don't want to introduce a new concept right now.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
Better idea. That's right.
Tomorrow. And
Better
who's
idea.
going to be here with you guys tomorrow? Mr. Boats.
And Mr. Boats is going to go ahead and continue this whole idea, this whole lesson of, what's the tie-in here, Mr. Sarasin?
Expect the unexpected. So today we had backbeat, which was different from the normal or traditional beat, and syncopation, which was different from both, to the point that we had to learn a whole new concept of off. So Mr. Boats is going to talk about other unexpected things that we can find in music. And why do we put unexpected things in music? It sounds good. It makes it more interesting instead of just the same old music.
Gets kind of boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice job.
Now for the last,
You guys did.
the last couple of minutes, we got some other music.
Fun.
Am I gonna try? Okay. Is this syncopated? So, backbeat, syncopated, what is it, traditional? And if you did it real slow, it's a good backbeat, or you can even do a faster one. There's not syncopation in that beat. Right? Now you're all looking dead because you thought that you got to train away and not have to do anything, right? Yeah. Oh, I had other music, I thought I'd just give you an example, I guess, make sure you learned the lesson. Okay, yeah, Mr. Saracen. Okay. I always think of Friday Night Lights. Matt Saracen was the second quarterback. He was good. I don't know if you've seen that TV show. It was a good one. Friday Night Lights.
And Mr. Gary.
Yeah, I didn't know that though.
Dr. Garrity.
Matt Saracen.
I never made that connection.
He was 6.
Oh,
Dr. Gary. That's cool. And Mr. Gary.
There's a fire starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch, is bringing me out the dark. Finally, I can see you crystal clear. Go ahead and sell me out in all the ocean bell. See how I'll leave with every piece of you. Don't underestimate the things that I will do. There's a fire starting in my heart. Oh, da 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 da.
Like a fool out when it stays too long. I'm wondering if your love's still strong.
Ooh, baby, here I am.
I'm just trying to get you guys to
It kind of was
see
singing,
this.
it was kind of syncopation at the end.
I know that song.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, who sings it?
I don't know who sings it, but I know
Famous.
What's the other song?
Famous.
First song.
Blind.
Christmas.
kind of like yours, only he's older, so it's starting to do this.
Receive his hairline.
Yeah, his hairline's receding.
I know what you're saying.
And he's in his 60s.
Yeah. He's pushing 70s.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but the person who, whatever it is, saying it was
Okay.
on a
Well,
different movie.
yes.
That's why I said I didn't know.
Yes. That's actually Stevie Wonder.
Next time
Actually,
you're
that's his
listening
song.
to your iPod, try to figure out what type of music you normally listen to. Do you listen to music with a traditional beat, music with a backbeat, or music with syncopation? What do you guys think? Most of your music probably has what?
I'm trying to think of some of the songs.
Nick, what does most of your music have probably?
We have all your folders.
Backbeat. A lot of music that we listen to nowadays has backbeat.
Alt rock. I like alt rock and regular rock. You mean speed, man.
And then the bell will never.
That's me.
Yeah.
There isn't even, yeah. This is one big long beat. I'm telling her how to
Her music.
Yeah.
What's your music? That's not bad. So it could be on 1 and 3 or 2 and 4. Sometimes rock is real straight.
You need some help?
And they don't scream.
Oh, Lacey, what happened?
Actually, probably one singer who sings all that song. It doesn't. It's like one big long beat. Ba-dong, ba-dong.
How'd it go?
It went well.
Good.
Definitely helped me a lot.
Well, here's what I like. I like that you asked a lot of questions, so you're giving them a lot of opportunities to kind of go ahead and do stuff, which is great. The one thing that I think you need to figure out of what we want to do a little bit better is what are the different ways that you're going to engage them? Because for these guys, they were great. Small group, they were quiet, they were on task, they were doing what you wanted them to do, all good stuff.